Alright, so as you guys know, 24 hours ago, part 2 of the fairy event was released, and with that, I've seen a lot of people complaining about two specific features, specifically the fairy points, as well as obviously being able to catch the ridiculous 3,000 or 5,000 fairies. And I'm going to be completely honest, I sort of mentioned what I'm going to talk about in today's video in my full guide video that I uploaded as soon as the update dropped, and just sort of like the method that I was going to take, because the reality is that some of us out there like to touch grass, and we don't exactly want to spend, oh man, there's an earthquake happening right now, but like I was saying, there's a lot of us that don't exactly want to spend 24 hours on this game chasing after fairies. But honestly, the real reality here is that a lot of people are just simply struggling, mainly because you're not fully understanding what you should be doing to really get the absolute most here. So if you noticed, I've gone ahead and captured a total of 520 fairies. The crazy thing about this is that every single one of those I've done pretty much AFK. Now, I do say pretty much because for the most part, the only reason that I've been coming to my PC is basically to make more of the nets. This is obviously just an inevitable thing that you're going to have to do over and over again in order to hit the 3,000 fairies. You sadly do need to make 3,000 of these nets if you're planning to AFK this. Now, it really isn't all that bad because it's 30 seconds every single time that you want to make 20. And for the most part, the actual materials are kind of mediocre. I mean, to be honest, one strawberry seed, one harvest tool, and one sun bulb is kind of like dumb. I mean, honestly, it's just so easy to make. Now, if you guys notice in the bottom left-hand side, I also have 91,954 fairy points. I'll explain to you guys also in this video exactly how I've been sort of racking up all these points and just the method that pretty much I'm taking. But first, let's go ahead and start off with the fairies captured and the AFK method. As I mentioned before, I briefly talked about this just sort of deep into my full guide video. But honestly, the best thing to do here is going to be to stand behind the fairy godmother. This is, again, if you plan to be completely 100% AFK. You go ahead, grab yourself a fairy net. Obviously, keep in mind that if you are AFKing, you want to make a lot of these. Like, for example, I have 210 of these. If I completely 100% AFK, those 210 will probably last me like 5 or 6 hours. So it is going to take a long time to do this, really depending on what your upgrades are. If we take a look over here at the fairy godmother, I don't really have that many upgrades. And that's mainly because I didn't really take too much time playing the game during the part 1. So as a matter of fact, when I jumped onto the part 2 update, I literally only had about 600 fairy points. So all of these 91,000 I've accumulated literally just today. And although you guys are seeing this video the day after, the update technically dropped just today. Speaking of which, the fairy ring just went ahead and opened. So let me go in here really quick and turn in these jars. So I'm going to grab myself one of these chests here really quick. There we go. We got one enchanted chest, which gave me nothing. Either way, let's go back up top so we can continue what we were talking about previously for those of you that are interested in the AFKing. So as I was saying before, you go ahead, make yourself a bunch of the fairy nets, and pretty much just stand right here behind the fairy godmother. You want to be as close as you can to this purple door that's here, and then just pretty much turn on an auto clicker and just stand right here and do this. Now, there's a plus side and a negative side to this. Obviously, the plus side is that you're going to be getting a lot of fairies, specifically however many you have based off of your upgrades. The downside is that you're going to be catching these as soon as they are coming out of the tree. So that means that chances are that you will not be getting any glimmering plants inside of your garden. So it is sort of like a takeaway, but I'm going to be completely honest, man. For points, I don't really depend on that. I'll actually go ahead and give you guys the quick breakdown now on what I do as far as getting fairy points. But before we move into that, I do want to go ahead and point out, because I know that there's going to be somebody that says it in the comment section. This is, again, the best way to go ahead and get fairy captures if you are going to be 100% AFKing. Obviously, if you want to go ahead and climb up those ranks to getting thousands of fairies captured, then you most definitely want to be as active as possible. Especially when that fairy ring opens, you want to be inside of there catching all of the fairies that are not only on the ground level, but also the ones that spawn up on the trees. There's a very, very good possibility that even with just 10 minutes of this fairy portal being open, you can easily capture 30 to 40 fairies if you lock in. Then, of course, besides that, when the fairies go ahead and start roaming around the entire map, you also want to lock in and grab those as well. This is if you're playing more on an active sort of play style, but I don't really think that you guys need me to explain that. This is just purely me pointing out the AFK method. As for the fairy points, this is just straight up what I've been doing today. Don't really know if this is efficient or not, but it's just been working out for me. I'm sure that someone will probably share in the comment section a way better method. And if I do see that and you guys agree, I'll go ahead and pin it at the very top of the comment section so all of you are aware. The glimmering mutation spray has probably been my best friend for literally the last 10 or 12 hours. I've pretty much ran through this entire fountain a bunch of times, and like I showed you guys before, I've sort of been focusing more on dumping into my fairy spawns for obviously my AFK method, as well as my glimmer multiplier, which honestly, now thinking about it, I probably shouldn't have dumped so much into this. Should probably focus a little bit more on something like the fairy event or even the roaming fairies if I was trying to take more of an active approach. But either way, let's go ahead and take a look right here. I'm being asked right now for a glimmering tomato. Keep in mind, this is pretty much a full fresh start right now because I did just finish my fountain, I want to say maybe like 20 minutes ago before actually starting recording. Now here I'm being asked for a glimmering tomato. I don't actually know if I have any, but it really isn't a big deal if I do or if I don't, which luckily I believe that I do have one. I just have to climb all the way up here. So let's grab that. And now we're going to head back over here and turn in the glimmering tomato. As soon as I turn this in, I'm going to get a lump sum of fairy points, and I'm also going to be keeping an eye out for 2 rewards. So if you notice, I'm at 91,954. As soon as I go ahead and turn this in, now I am at 92,504. Then I'm going to click on make a wish. And unfortunately, I didn't get one of the 2 rewards that I wanted. I didn't get either one of them, to be honest. The 2 rewards that I've mainly been looking for is the mutation spray for glimmering, as well as fairy points. In this case right here, I'm probably just going to go for a seed pack just because why not? And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next thing so that way I can show you guys me actually redeeming one of these rewards that I was talking about, because I really want to show you guys just how useful those are to pretty much rack up the most amount of points. So here we're being asked for a watermelon and a cactus. I don't have any cactus down in this loadout, so I'm going to have to go ahead and switch this out really quick. There we go. Now we got our cactus out, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab a watermelon as well from here. All right, so lucky for me, I have a lot of cactus down, and there is a cactus right here with glimmering. So we got that. Saved myself one of the sprays. Watermelon, on the other hand, I don't have down. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this really quick and then use one of my 4 sprays on this watermelon. There we go. We have both things. Now let's travel back, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on offer all plants. We went ahead and completed that. Now we're at 94,904. We've already gone up 3,000 since we started recording. I'm going to click on make a wish, and my options now make it kind of complicated because I have both of these, so I sort of have to determine what is my best option here. Every single time that I've clicked on fairy points, I can get anywhere between 500 fairy points all the way to as high as 2,000. The mutation sprays, on the other hand, I sometimes have only gotten 1 mutation spray, and sometimes I've gotten 5. So for this first roll, because we're sort of getting low on our mutation sprays, I'm going to go with the mutation spray. I have 3 of them right now. Let's click. We got 3 for that. So now we're back at 6. I do believe that this is completely random. I could be wrong, but like I said, sometimes I get 1, sometimes I get 5. In this case, I ended up getting 3. Either way, now we're looking for a glowthorn as well as 1 glimmering mango. We got both of those in, and now we are at 99,504 fairy points available to us. Let's make a wish. And sadly, I did not get points this time. I'm actually kind of disappointed about that. This time, I'm probably going to go for, let's see, egg or pack. I think I'm going to go pack again. So already in just a couple of minutes, we've progressed now 4 tiers in. Still have my 6 mutation sprays. And now I need to get a glimmering giant pine cone, glimmering pepper, as well as another glowthorn. All right, all we're missing is a glowthorn. So let's go ahead and grab that really quick. And we should be able to finish this right here. Offer plant. There we go. Reward is, I guess we'll go with an aurora vine just because why not? So right there, we ended up getting the final huge lump sum, which usually averages anywhere between 10 to like 15K, at least for me, leaving now our total to 114,404 fairy points. Now, obviously, at this point, it's totally up to you guys. You can go ahead and spend the 7,500 fairy points, or you can spend some Robux to reset this, or you could just wait the timer, which honestly, I wouldn't recommend. I feel like you get way more fairy points completing this entire thing from start to finish, justifying the 7,500 fairy points. But of course, the reality here is that I'm sure some of you guys are like, well, Carbon, that's great and all because, you know, you play every single update and you have all the seeds. You're here for pretty much every single one of the admin abuse. So you've gotten to take advantage of some of the restocking of the super rare stuff. But what about for us that unfortunately don't have things like, you know, a giant pine cone or, I don't know, maybe just a glowthorn, for example? In your case, the sad reality is that you only really have one option, and that is to pretty much be online at the top of every single hour. You want to make sure that you're taking full-on advantage of the fairy event happening, and instead of spending your time AFKing in front of the door so that way you catch all of the fairies that are coming out, just sort of lay off from AFKing or being behind the fairy godmother while the fairy event is active so that way you're getting the most amount of glimmer. Then just pretty much round everybody up and dump it into the fountain so that way you're able to complete it and get whichever one you're stuck on out of the way. That's really the only tip that I can give you. This is just basically what's been working for me. Yes, it's probably going to take me a little bit longer to get the fairies captured than someone that's actively playing the game, but considering I go out quite a bit and I like to touch grass, I will not be doing that very often. I mean, occasionally I will jump on and catch a couple of fairies here and there, but for the most part, I will more than likely be AFKing all the way to about 1,000 or 3,000. I actually don't know if they've changed it. I did notice that they changed one of them and dropped it down to 900, so that's good. But overall, the real topic here was to tell you guys that you need to be taking advantage of this AFK method. It's going to save you guys so much time, especially for those of you that are, you know, having to go to school or just want to feel what it's like to have a little bit of vitamin D on your skin. With that being said, man, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any additional questions, or of course, like I said at the beginning, if you have any additional input or even some cool little tricks that you have, let us know in the comment section. I'm looking through the comments. I will be pinning anybody that has some absolutely crazy idea. And plus, on top of all of that, it helps your boy out, so I appreciate it. With that being said, I'm going to end this video off. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.